It's Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in Long Beach today at the Long Beach Chamber of Commerce. They have kindly invited us to use their facilities, and guess who's here with us? Randy Gordon. He's the president and CEO of the Long Beach Chamber of Commerce. Sir, good to see you.
Good to see you, Brad.
I want to speak with you about Long Beach, the second largest city in LA County, seventh largest city in the state. And recently, Beacon Economics, we know it well, issued its report about the health of the Long Beach economy. Pretty good. 4% growth last year, job gains over 10,000 over the last 2 years, a few sectors doing better than others. What do you feel about the Long Beach economy?
These are good times. You know, recently in June, the Chamber honored commercial real estate. You know, each year at our Chamber Gala, we honor different industry, and these are the best of times for commercial real estate.
Why?
Well, obviously, you've got a new City Hall complex, Civic Center, with 11-story new City Hall, 11-story new Port Administration, twin towers, so to speak, looking at the ocean together right on Ocean Boulevard. And that's a $355 million development with lots of construction jobs over about 8 years.
Nice.
You've got the new bridge going up,
right,
which is a $1.2 billion project. You know, the old bridge was falling apart and concrete was actually falling underneath it.
This is Desmond?
The Desmond Bridge. They had a net catching the concrete. And so that's going to, in a 10-year project, in its fourth or fifth year now, lots of jobs. You had also a new in Middle Harbor where they brought in 100 new cranes, and that Middle Harbor project is the world's most automated port shipping complex in the world.
And I want to talk about the port in a little while, but I want to focus more now on jobs, because obviously it's all about jobs,
Right.
and jobs, and more jobs. And what we know is that in Long Beach, we saw significant gains in professional, science, technology, and management. Education and health did well. Manufacturing and admin, not as well. We saw some real losses there. What does that tell you?
You know, I don't have an answer for that, but if we had losses in administration, there must have been one particular large company that maybe did that.
I understand.
Because I have not heard of losses across the board. So that might have been some kind of just a one-shot deal.
Right. I want to talk about manufacturing. Significant loss in manufacturing, but you know why.
Of course, Boeing. You know, in Long Beach, quite frankly, if you take the Boeing out, Long Beach has never been a huge manufacturing city. And many years ago, we had a lot more. You know, many years ago, we had a couple of manufacturing, Starkist Tuna, you know, the Gypsum Company with the wallboards. And so, but with Boeing taken out, we're not a huge manufacturing. You know, as Beverly O'Neill once said, you know, we're
mayor.
the three T's, the former mayor. Yeah, technology, tourism, and trade.
Right. I want to talk about trade. There is no doubt that trade is such a huge part of the Long Beach economy. It feeds so many jobs in Long Beach, in Southern California, in the nation, as a result of the beautiful Long Beach port, part of the twin ports, LA and Long Beach. We look toward the new administration. President-elect Trump has used trade very effectively to motivate, especially in the upper Midwest, and there was a sense that trade deals have not benefited Americans. They've been too favorable to our trading partners. Are you concerned, sir, that under a Trump administration, we will see imports dropping and therefore impacting the Port of Long Beach?
I don't think so, Brad. Trump's a really smart guy, okay? And Trump's been very successful. And there's something to be said with having a president of the United States who signed the front of the paycheck all of his life versus the back of the paycheck.
Right.
This guy has had a lot of success. So in many ways, I know government's different, but running the government like a business is going to be good, I believe, for economy.
But aside from his acumen, his business acumen,
Right.
on the trade issue, he made it such a
Right.
signature part of his agenda. And I just wonder if folks in Long Beach are a little nervous because, you know, if he does rip up these trade deals, do we see less imports and exports for that matter?
First of all, I think if he surrounds himself with the right people and the right cabinet, I believe that it's going to be reasonable. I really believe he's a smart guy. He's going to figure it out because he doesn't want us to lose a great deal of trade. But some of those trade agreements have been a little bit too good for the other side, i.e. China.
Let me ask you if you in the chamber and otherwise are starting to look at that issue because look, I know you for a long time. You get ahead of issues. And so is it time for the chamber and other advocates of Long Beach to talk to those smart people to make sure they understand the importance of trade, and to the extent we start renegotiating trade agreements, we appreciate the impact on jobs here. I know the Upper Midwest is concerned about their job losses, but what about Long Beach?
Absolutely, and we need to be in the thick of that. We need to be talking to our trade partners. U.S. Chamber is going to be in the thick of that because they care a lot about trade. And I really believe that when the dust settles, President Trump's going to figure it out, especially if he surrounds himself with the right people.
I want to also talk about another element of the trade story, and that is, again, here we are in Long Beach, where technology, professions, science, a huge economic driver. Currently, a lot of those jobs have gone to foreign nationals through visa programs. President-elect Trump has expressed concern about jobs going to foreign nationals. Now, query whether we have the talent here. Hope we do, of course.
Right.
But is that of concern to you that all of a sudden there will be a decrease? I think they're called H1 visas. I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So are you concerned about that we won't be able to attract the best and the brightest from our offshore?
I think he's going to figure that out, and I think his cabinet's going to figure that out. And if he surrounds them with the right people, they're going to figure that out. Because if they are the best and the brightest are coming from China, that's okay. Because these people are going to be vetted well beyond the normal.
That's aside from the security question, which is a valid point.
Right, and so they're going to be the best and the brightest. And just like he runs his company, he wants the best and brightest people in his company. I think he's going to want the best and brightest people we can get in America.
I think that another issue that will, at a certain level, excite a lot of folks in the business community has been his talk about regulatory reform.
Right.
I want to get a sense from you, help me, teach me, how much does the federal government and its potential regulatory reform efforts under President Trump impact California? Meaning, is the regulatory problem we have, to the extent we have one in California, a California state issue or a United States issue?
No, I think it's the United States issue, but California is going to be a little different because, California is dominated by the Democrat Party. And so you're going to have a little bit of this and that going back between because both of our U.S. senators are Democrats.
Right.
And so how much they're going to work across the aisle remains to be seen. I think everyone's concerned about that.
But I guess my question becomes, let's presume that President Trump is successful with regulatory reform.
Right.
How much does that impact the states? Because as I understand it, a lot of the regulation that is seen as frustrating is California state regulation, not United States regulation. Or am I reading it wrong?
Well, and you don't know how much of that regulation from the states
emanates. Yeah.
Does the federal regulation hold higher standards than the state regulation?
Got it.
Our state leaders are going to have to work with Trump's folks to make that happen, and we are concerned about that.
Right.
But I think in the long haul, it's going to help business. He's a business guy. So I think the industries and the business CEOs are to be excited the fact that he's going to help them.
His name is Randy Gordon. He is our host today because he is the president and CEO of the Long Beach Chamber of Commerce, where we are sitting today. You want to say one more thing?
Well, if you're wondering why I have an Hawaiian shirt on, Supervisor Don Kanabe's retirement party is tonight, and he specifically told people to dress in Hawaiian shirts.
And that's L.A. County Supervisor Don Kanabe. I'm Brad Pomerance, Charter Local Edition.